Go. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the world people you're going to be when you're going to listen to the guest of the day. Welcome to Leaders in Library Season 4. Once again, we have had three successful seasons with 74 global guests who have come and spoken about books and their impact in their own leadership journey. And today we have yet another guest joining the force and adding value to the show. And he's none other than Daniel Jacob. We connected a couple of months back. We had an interaction when we realized that both of us are equally book lovers and mad about how books play a very significant role in our own growth journey. And that's how I invited him, and he was gracious enough to accept the invitation. Before we get into the conversation and the book that we're going to talk about, let me have the honor of introducing Daniel. And I'm looking to the LinkedIn page here, and it is quite an envious accolade of work that gentleman here has. But let me do justice to this. Daniel comes with solid 2 decades of work experience in multiple spaces of HR, which could be employee engagement, performance management, talent management, culture, HR analytics, name it. He has done it. He works with an organization called the EC Group, which is one of the US based software companies that offers talent as an extended team to very many companies globally across many countries. Let me go to what he also does. He is somebody, apart from doing HR work, he is also a regular speaker on multiple forums, platforms, and conferences. Those of you who are active on LinkedIn, you would have seen Daniel very, very active on multiple forums. Beyond his work, he's also an absolutely giving kind of a person. More than receiving, he believes in giving as a philosophy in life. He is part of a foundation called You Are Loved Foundation, and he also is a managing trustee of a lovely school called Little Lamb School. These are all part of his social side. These are all part of his philanthropic side that Daniel generates energy, if I can say that, Daniel, from. And all this good work has awarded him with multiple recognitions. Let me read a couple. He is somebody who has got award as the HR Leader of the Year from the Economic Times, the 40 most talented HR leaders in India by the World HRD Congress, and HR Leadership Award by the Asia Pacific HRM Congress. This is fabulous. Such a pleasure to have you, Daniel.
Thank you, Rajiv. It's my pleasure to be on the show, speaking to you, speaking about books, speaking about how book helped me and how book can help others also. I think it's absolute pleasure. I'm humbled by your introduction. Thank you for that. And I should thank you for this great idea that you had that can bring interest in people to read more. So
Thank you
good.
so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
that.
much. Thank you so much. You started this as a thought process, and believe me, Daniel, people like you have encouraged us to do this. And today we are sitting with the fourth season after three successful seasons. I never thought we will have a roll around like this.
Good. Let there be 100 seasons.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really wish that should happen. And I'm going to start the conversation with the first question to you, Daniel, before we get into the book. Tell me, how did books happen and how did the association start for you?
So that is actually from my young ages.
Mm-hmm,
Reading was something that I always liked.
mm-hmm,
Growing up, my parents also encouraged us to read life stories. Predominantly, growing up, I remember reading uh, biographies and autobiographies of people,
mm-hmm.
and it'll inspire people. Oh, they did this and so on a story format.
Right.
Where there are writers who write biographies on a story format. That's how I grew up,
Mm-hmm,
and reading always helped. I remember, in my school days, I'll be one of the few children with uniform going and sitting in public library and studying. And they'll be like, all you go there, you'll see middle-aged and aged people with newspaper and talking and other things. I'll be
right.
only of the very few students who'll be going in cycle and sitting. What I read, I don't remember much, but
Mm.
going there by itself was a big pleasure.
How
Now,
lovely.
any competition that I know in my school days, I used to participate in oratorical competition, Tamil oratorical
Right.
competition. So for that, I'll go to library and prepare. Randomly, I'll go pick up, and I know a lot of things. I remember I had done it. One instant. I was in an exam hall. I was studying ninth standard. The next to me on the same bench was a 11th standard student.
Okay.
And I was writing I was not a great bright student and all, but when I was writing the thing, I was looking into the question paper of the 11th standard student. I was looking there.
Okay.
It was a Tamil exam,
Okay.
and the second paper for him, it is mostly grammar and the Sayul kind of poems kind
Right.
of things will
Right.
come. I looked at them and I was, oh, I know this answer. I've read this for a competition in the library. And I told him, I asked him, do you know this? He said, no. Can I help you? And that was a proud moment as a ninth standard student going and helping a 11th standard student. So that's how, studying books, reading books
Lovely.
was always a great pleasure to me. And it continues. The first thing that you go to any airport,
Yeah.
maybe national, international, Chennai, wherever, the first thing that I do is go and visit the book there, in
Bookstore.
Blockbuster Chennai, and any bookstore anywhere. And definitely you'll
Absolutely.
find one book interesting, then I will get it. So that is my
Oh,
pleasure.
tell me about it. Every time I go to an airport, after I finish my check-in, the first job is where is the bookstore?
Yes, exactly,
I can so
exactly.
much relate to that. Such a lovely example that you gave. It just tells us that reading has got no age, and reading
Yes.
just expands the knowledge so much that you may become wiser beyond your age or even earlier to your age, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's reading people and their minds through the words.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. Great example. So I'm going to straight away jump into the book of the day. And the book that you've picked up is very interesting, Daniel. I didn't know about this book, and then I read it. The book is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And James Allen, multiple other books are interesting ones. This was very, very deep, very thin book, but really insightful, right? So I'm going to ask you the first one that really caught my attention in this book. He says, act is the blossom of thoughts, and he says, joy and sufferings are its fruit. It sounds very biblical or sounds very philosophical, but I want to understand this from you from a basic layman human being's perspective. How do you see this?
See, James Allen is absolutely of very few people that uh, who I can put it in a category of geniuses. Okay,
Absolutely.
any self-help books that we can read, I think there is content from him. Okay, and the book that we are talking about, the As Man Thinketh, the book that we are talking about, is
Yes.
exactly 120 years old by 2023. It was written in 1903. It's 120 years old,
Yeah.
and this man coming from a very struggling background, how he got these thoughts and amazing, no, that kind of uh, makes me think. And he's the main thing that I like about him is he's not coming from any Western philosophy or Eastern philosophy. he's
True,
he's
true.
from West, but he's influenced by Eastern philosophy in many places. He has
Yeah.
come to India, he has done things and also like that. So it's kind of a combination of
Correct.
philosophical thinking. Based
Correct.
on that, finally he comes to a conclusion how mind plays a major role in
Mm,
making a man. Man means men, okay, anybody,
true.
man, woman,
True.
okay.
Mm,
And usually we think, uh, yeah, I do something, we
mm,
are known based on our acts, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Nobody knows what we think.
Very true.
But he puts that in first, that
Mm,
what you think is what going it is going to come to pass rather
right.
than what you really know do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
intention, he puts intention first, even
Mm,
before the action.
mm,
So
mm.
I find him as a genius, and the what I could see, as you said, it's a small book. Every
Yeah.
time I read for this thing, I yesterday I finished reading this one more time,
Right.
and it is not that you can actually sit and read in one sittings.
Yeah.
I can very much remember few sentences I would have actually pondered for few days. I'll
I
go
agree.
read that and it'll be working. And again, I'll go and read it, validate it. And actually, there's some more revelation about it. And that's how
Yeah.
it is. It's an amazing book. And every line, if I need to underline, I think I should underline every words in the book. That's how
Tell
it
me
is.
about that. When I bought the book, and I have a habit of making notes in my books, David, and I don't, Daniel, and I don't lend book to people. I tell them, if you want the book, I'll buy it for you, but don't ask my book because that is my personal treasure because I've got my own notes in it. Believe me, I've scribbled across all the paragraphs and all the pages of the book. There is so much of wisdom.
Absolutely. Wisdom is the right word. Absolutely. It is full of wisdom. Amazing.
Absolutely. And I think your point is very right. There were multiple moments where I read the book and many sentences, many paragraphs that he wrote made me just go back like this and think, yeah, this is something that I have done in
Yeah,
life. Why did I do that? Why are
yeah,
people doing that? It was very deep. And there were moments where I felt joyous. There were moments where I went through a guilt trip. There were moments where I started blaming myself, cursing myself for doing something wrong. And I said, shit, I shouldn't do this
yeah.
anymore.
Yes,
That
exactly.
was like,
See, for example, I'll demonstrate. I'll just randomly open a page and
uh,
I'll read a sentence and make me know, give me a, you're thinking of what it could make a lot of sense. Okay,
yeah,
for example, page number 65, it is thought aligned fearlessly to purpose becomes creative force.
okay.
Okay, I'll read it again. Thought aligned fearlessly to purpose becomes creative force. Okay, with how do you
That's it.
comprehend this? Then you'll have to ponder about it.
Mm.
Thoughts aligned fearlessly to purpose. So we have purpose, and also we have thoughts. Are we
We
aligned
also
it
have fear. We
fearlessly?
also have fear.
Yeah, we have fear. Usually we have fear, right?
Yes.
How to fearlessly connect my thoughts with the purpose so that it can become a creative force. How will it become a creative force? All this, no, it's amazing. That's why
Mm.
I
No, I
really
think
like this book.
this is not just simple English. It is actually the genius of right
Yes,
choices to words.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Very nicely. And I love the demonstration that you did. You know, that tempts me to take me to the next interesting fact that I really liked was he says situations or circumstances grow out of thought. And that was a very powerful sentence. Circumstances grow out of thought. How
Hmm.
did you interpret this as a young leader when you are in your late 20s, early 30s? How do you see it now in the age and stage that you are in, Daniel?
See, the demonstration that he makes us to know the way he makes gives us a very good understanding,
Mm,
like how a garden
mm,
and thoughts
mm.
as seeds and the outcomes as fruits and flowers.
Right.
Okay, that is how no he brings in the words blossoms. Now comes there. Okay,
Yeah.
thinking a mind, think thoughts as a garden,
Mm,
a mind as a garden, and a
yeah.
thoughts are seeds. Okay,
Right. Right.
and sometimes we keep complaining that in my garden there's only all the weeds are growing. There's no
Mm,
fruits are coming. There's
mm,
no flowers are not coming out of my garden. Is what we
mm.
keep complaining.
Right.
That's why he fixes what is the thought that you have. No,
Beautiful.
is that the purity of thoughts he talks about the words that he uses.
Correct.
The purity of thoughts.
Correct.
When the purity of thoughts are kind of sowed in our thoughts, and then the outcome is automatic. You
Flowers
don't
and
do anything
fruits.
else.
Yeah.
The land does the work. The
True.
land does the work. And the rain is miracle happens accordingly. Now, whenever is needed, it will come and the blossom will come. So,
Very true.
as a leader, now when I think about it, as a young leader, oh, maybe, and you also mentioned, okay,
Mm,
that did not go well. Maybe I did not have the right intentions.
beautiful. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as a leader, people's man, I manage people. Now I'm a human resource
Mm,
professional. So
mm,
dealing with people, developing leaders, training them, all that important. Okay. If I go
yeah.
and train people, do I go just with the content
Mm,
or do I also go with the thoughts that the content that I have is going to make a big difference? It's going to
beautiful.
make all the differences.
Very true.
Okay.
Very true.
Yesterday, as I said, yesterday I was reading this book for, yesterday I was traveling to speak in a college in
Mm,
Salem. And
mm,
on the way back, I was coming in Shadapti. That is the
mm.
time I fixed that I wanted to finish reading this book
Best
because
time.
you're not disturbed.
Yeah.
So as I was reading, there was one thing that there's one event that we usually really do for government school children across the state.
Right.
It's called Purachal Virdugal. We identify
Mm,
talented students across the state and
mm,
award them and also mentor them.
mm.
And this year, the partner and partners, I was working on, it's not working last several weeks, it's not working out.
Okay.
Then as I was reading that, then I was thinking,
Mm,
why it is not working out? Maybe is my thought not aligned properly?
mm,
Because
mm.
every time the students, uh, the way we are able to help the students is the center of the purpose of the event. Okay.
Correct. Correct.
Then I was thinking, maybe as I was planning, maybe I was thinking something else was my intention first rather than the real intention. Actually,
Mm.
it was different. Then I
Okay.
said, I should be aligning it. I should be aligning it. Then I
Mm,
closed my eyes, I prayed, I said, I wanted to align my thoughts. Maybe I was deviated. No, this is our purpose. that we want to identify the best students from the rural, poor background and mentor them so that they can become somebody in life. So that is the purpose. So I said, I'm aligning my thoughts. You will not believe, just 1 hour before this call, the institute confirmed that they're partnering with us.
Look at
Just
that.
1 hour
Look at
before
that.
this event, the
Power of
recording,
thoughts,
this
sir.
recording. Yeah, it is
Beautiful.
amazing. It is amazing. So that is what I would say as a leader, as a leader, more than your actions, more than your medals and all these things, align your thoughts. That is
Yeah.
more important, so that the outcome is automatic.
Very true. Look at that. You created the circumstances that you intended just because of doing a shift in your thought alignment.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Beautiful. I mean, this just validates what James Allen is saying, that everything starts from the thought and ends at the thought. This is a
Yes.
classic example. Thanks for sharing that. I think it's a great input for all the young leaders and listeners of the show, because everything is from the thought and it lands there as the garden that you can create for yourself starts from the thought. Great one, Daniel. Thanks a lot for that. I'm going to go to the next one, and I'm very excited to ask this question because somebody who's conscious of the health piece uh, of the body, and today with so much of awareness on health and people are talking about this beautifully, as you said, so many years back, James has touched upon this correlation. He says effect of thoughts on health and body is a very important element. How have you used this and how has it helped you to stay healthy, Daniel? I would love to listen to this, and I'll be a great value for young leaders.
Absolutely. Thoughts and health, very rarely we connect. We know people talking about keep laughing,
Mm,
then you become sickless and all that. No, there are thoughts. You go to, I walk in the morning and I see a group of people. No, they all do this laughing therapy and all. They'll be ha
correct,
ha ha and all that they'll be doing.
correct.
Seeing that, I'll also laugh. It is fun, and because I also laughing. Anybody knows me personally, they know I laugh very very loud.
Okay.
In fact, one of my friend's mother said, no, when the child is there, my friend's sister was just delivered. When the child is sleeping, you never come to our house, is what she said. You'll come, you'll laugh, you'll wake that fellow and go, then we'll be the one suffering with them. So I'm known for laughing at loud, okay? But Alan brings in entirely different. Laughing is also an outcome. But
Yeah.
thoughts, how your thoughts of having a perfect health,
Mm,
thoughts of living a healthy life can
right.
help you. I think no, absolutely. It's again, it begins there. It
Mm,
definitely begins there. And as I was reading that, every time I used to think,
mm,
um, uh, how is my things going on? And
mm,
always my health was not good or
mm,
not up to the mark
mm.
whenever I was worried.
Uh,
Whenever I was worried, then I was thinking, why worry on this thing? Because when I was worried about something else,
mm,
nothing else looks bigger than the health. Then no, easy one is the health. Okay, we
mm,
keep eating more. Sometimes we have no
yeah.
stress eating. You're
Correct.
stressed, so just
Craving for
you feel
something.
always hungry. You eat and so on. So
Yeah.
the thoughts is like irrespective of what is happening outside. That's why
Mm,
one other probably in one other areas, how our thoughts also create circumstances,
beautiful.
right? That is very very important, because most of the time, because I am a regular speaker, speak to students and so on.
Mm,
Most
mm,
of the time the students, when they come and tell
mm,
me what is their problem, the main thing will be how external environment is not
mm.
helping them in succeeding, how
Right.
their
Yeah.
family background, their parents marital situation or their
Mm,
financial situation is influencing them, is always is a thought. It's not just
mm,
students, anybody else that we can think of also.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
but
mm.
it is not that. You will be able to create your environment, the circumstances that will come. It is
Very
amazing.
good.
No, how will you even? And it is very very true, because then it will follow from the mind, is what no many
Correct.
times I felt in my life, and
Yeah.
especially in health. I always felt whenever I was joyful, whenever I was aligned on my thoughts about my health, always my health improved. I've seen that
Beautiful.
literally.
Beautiful. So definitely there's a correlation, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I would absolutely say I felt it, experienced it. I say there is correlation.
Beautiful.
Correlation.
I think it's a great input because a lot of youngsters listening to our conversation who are in their late 20s, early 30s, go to the gym, they may be working out, do their morning walk. All that is great. You need to take care of your body by doing all these exertions, no doubt about it. But along with that, giving a thought to your thought is also a very important element. We should not miss that, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
super, super. I'm going to ask you the very important question that you started and you read that one particular sentence from page 65 randomly, right? And that is what is my next question is.
Okay.
He talks about thought and purpose in one chapter. Very, very powerful chapter. In fact, I found it so powerful that in fact I read it twice back to back because I had to understand the meaning of every word that he was saying in the book in that particular chapter. I'm going to ask you, what was your key learning from the chapter, Larry? Thought and purpose.
See, basically, uh, when I sit with a student on helping them choose their career,
Hmm.
okay, and or you go and do a motivation session for a
Yeah.
group of professionals and so on.
Hmm.
One of the usual thing is that do you have your mission statement,
Right.
the purpose that you wanted to do, and
Correct.
so on.
Correct.
And many times, purpose are driven based on external forces that I've
Hmm.
actually seen. For
Hmm.
example, uh, my friend wants to become a doctor.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
and what else can be better than that for me? I also want to
Hmm.
become a doctor, but I want to do it a little better.
Hmm.
Then my personal story, when
Hmm.
I grew up, if somebody in the school make me stand up and ask what my life goal or the purpose should be, they'll say I would always say I want to become an army doctor
Oh.
because I was in NSS,
Ah.
sorry, NCC. I was
Hmm.
also in NSS, but
Hmm.
NCC, going
Hmm.
in the morning, making parade. When the Havaldar comes, he'll come
Hmm.
and share the story of how they actually were fighting on that,
Hmm.
all that now, war and all that will always
Hmm.
fascinate me.
Yeah.
I'll always wanted to go and actually take the gun and shoot and fight for the country and make India proud is always in my thought. But also I
Right.
like wanted to. But my friend says want to be a doctor. Is being a
Uh,
doctor is better or being a soldier is the better? Okay, then I
combine them.
thought, how can I actually fix it? Then I said I want to be a medical doctor.
Combine them.
Yes, combine them. So that purpose is not based on my original thoughts,
Yeah. Beautiful example.
and it never come to pass. Never
Hmm.
came to pass.
Yeah.
And many times, even in our thing, that we have a lot of purpose. We try to identify some purpose, corner to a purpose, and so on, based on various things, not because of thoughts.
Yeah.
But when your thoughts is aligned, the
Hmm.
statement I read, I think it's a right
Yeah.
quotation here.
Yeah.
When the thought is aligned fearlessly with the purpose,
Hmm.
then the creative force comes.
True.
How it
True.
comes, we do not know. I believe in no divine help.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
believe in God's favor. I believe in no divine. I n number of times I've seen. N
Hmm.
number of times I've seen. It could be as simple as something. I'll give you one example. I was doing my
Yeah.
MBA. I was coming from a very bad, financially challenging background. So having a pocket money in my hand was not. It was a
Hmm.
luxury. Always I
Hmm.
never.
Hmm.
One Sunday evening, I was coming out of my mess. In Sunday, the
Hmm.
college I studied, they used to serve non-vegetarian. Okay, I
Okay.
finished eating this non-vegetarian food, all spicy food. I
Hmm.
was walking towards my dorm, and this thought came to my mind. I felt like eating a candy, a small candy or a
Right.
chocolate, because I
Right.
wanted some sweets.
Right.
I did not even have 50 pice because that's how much
Hmm.
it costed. I
Hmm.
did not have at all. I
Hmm.
was thinking, I was praying, in fact,
Hmm.
and I was praying, Lord, I want a chocolate.
Hmm.
And as I was saying, my mind was saying, see, can you go and ask God for a chocolate? You should be asking
Hmm.
bigger things or something like that.
Hmm.
Was thinking. But
Right.
then my mind was responding, no, no, this is my need right now.
Correct.
So it is my need, I want it.
Hmm.
The moment I finished answering in my mind, my friend, so nowhere he came and he called me and said, hey, take this chocolate and give me in my hand. Then I asked, why
Wow.
are you giving me? And he said,
Right.
no, I went to this shop. They did not have change. They gave me two chocolates. I can't eat two. No, take one. He
Look
gave
at
me
that.
between these incidents, there was not even a fraction of a second.
Lovely. Look at that. How circumstances just happen around you because of the thought which is aligned to the purpose, isn't it?
Yes, that is what I would call a creative force.
Very
Okay,
true.
and when
Very
it is
true.
aligned,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. It's amazing, and I can quote several instances like this how it happened.
Beautiful.
uh,
Yeah.
and it is like 50 paise. I can also give you another example of several lakhs of same thing. Now, once
And
we were kind of putting together our program, and so me and my friends, we always travel together and actually do a lot of social work and mission works and so on. And
mm,
once we went to meet one person whom we met in one of the events. Okay, just a
mm,
thing. He said, "No, come, wanted to meet." It happened in Tirunelveli,
mm,
and he's in Chennai. Now, when that's when I just started the career,
mm,
and no, then my friend came. He's from Kerala. He came in and
mm,
said, "Can we go and meet him?" I said, "Yes, we can go." We were
mm,
speaking to him, and he was asking, "Hey, how are you guys doing? Young age, you guys are actually traveling around and doing all this. How are things
mm,
happening and all that?" Then he
mm,
asked, "No, how you traveled around?" We said,
mm,
"No, normally bus, train, unreserved was the
mm.
always we go because most of the time it's unplanned. Go
Correct.
many times. I remember several hours together will be hanging in the train outside, and you'll have these plants come and hit you.
Oh my
No,
God.
several times we had bruises because of that, and it's literally, it's not, I'm not no exaggerating or no letting down,
Oh,
but it
I've
is
not
exactly
experienced
that
that, but
happened.
I've seen people doing that.
We've done it, and the big luxury those days is if you have a place to sit down on the steps in the
My
train,
God. My
it'll be
God.
like parallel steps. Now, think if you're able to get a step, squeeze in, and get a place
It's
to
a
sit down,
luxury.
luxury. It's a luxury many times. And we were kind of explaining a little bit and so on. Oh, okay. Then he said, "Oh, it will be good to have a tempo traveler for traveling like this because you guys travel as a team." He said, "Yeah." We were like, no, kind of looking at each other and said, "Yeah, yeah, yes." Then he immediately took his phone and booked
Mm.
a new tempo traveler for us.
Wow.
Brand new 9-seater pushback seat. We've never even seen a tempo traveler like that before. He
My
donated
God.
to us.
Who was this person? My God. Look at that.
No,
Just
he's not.
appeared from nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. See, before that we met him just once, and that also very formally we met. He came to the place that we were there. He came to invite somebody for his son's wedding. That's how he came. That's how we met. Few minutes we met.
Beautiful. Beautiful story. I mean, Daniel, outstanding. Beyond the show, I'm so tempted to now come to Chennai, sit with you, and listen to more such stories. This is absolutely inspiring. Independent of whether it is a divine force or believer of God, non-believer of God, comes across. That's the beauty of the book, James. He doesn't bring any religious element or a spiritual element here at all. He very clearly says a man can create circumstances if you're able to align that purpose and thought. That's it, isn't it?
See, the way I see is the way I think, as you said, that is one of the beauty of the book. That he
Yeah.
doesn't bring in, though the book, as he acknowledges, the book title comes from a book called Proverb in the Bible. He
Yeah.
does not bring any religious point to it. Okay, but I believe in God. So the way I understand is, I believe in God. He works, but for him to work, me preparing my mind is very very important.
Absolutely.
So
I agree
that's
to
how
that.
I take it.
Beautiful.
And when I prepare, it is there already because God is good, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe in a God who comes and not try to kill you, push you down because of the wrong things that you did. All that. No, no. I believe in a God who is love. That's how. No, my personal
True.
theology is okay.
True. True.
So,
True.
and this helps me very much. The
Beautiful.
thoughts,
Beautiful.
aligning my thoughts to it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I mean, very, very nicely articulated, Daniel. You made it so simple and crisp for people to understand. Thanks a lot. That takes me to the last question that I want to definitely ask you. With all these years of experience, over 2 decades, you came from a financially challenging background, did your own study yourself, made it big in life. Today, you've been awarded, recognized as one of the HR leaders in the fraternity of HR in India and other places. What are two bullseye advices that you want to give to the young emerging leaders?
Based on the book, I would say first advice is get this book and read. Okay, it's very very. What how much is this? It's just less than 100 rupees. This book
Yeah.
is. Get one. This book I've actually gifted. I think this is the most gifted by me to any of my friends. So
Mm,
always I'll have copies. When somebody quick visit comes, then I'll give. And also quickly, I'll share how I got this book first of all.
mhm,
Okay,
mhm,
co-founder of Natural Salons, Mr. Kumar Vel, C.K. Kumar Vel,
Yes,
is
yes,
my
yes,
mentor.
yes.
Whenever somebody meets him, always he gives a book. But when I met him first time, he never gave me a book. So after several times, then suddenly I remembered meeting in his office. I said, "Sir, you never gave me a book." Then he gave me a book, Tamil book. It is by Dr. Udayamurthy,
Mm,
and he's a good author, and I
yeah,
like him.
yeah.
And he wrote a book called, the book title called Ennangal. Ennangal means thoughts.
Thoughts.
And on that book, he talks about James Allen, not this book, but James
Uh,
Allen, how he
oh,
was inspired by him and all that. By reading that, he talks so much about James Allen. Then that's how I actually ordered this book. I also
love,
ordered other books and I read. Okay, so
lovely.
first advice is please read this book and have this copy always next to you. Okay, and whenever you have time, just flip. That will be my first advice. Second
Beautiful.
advice is don't underestimate your thoughts. Sometimes you'll be thinking thoughts is very intangible. You had some thoughts. No, yeah, people, everybody will have evil thoughts, bad thoughts, this and that. Don't underestimate your thoughts, because
Mm,
thoughts, though it is unseen, it plays a major role in the seen world, the tangible
mm,
world.
mm,
Okay, so that is why aligning your thoughts, hanging around with right people, reading the right book, listening to
mm.
the right people, even watching the right movies are very, very important.
Very true. Very
And
true.
that's how you'll be able to develop your thoughts. Even in the book, he'll acknowledge it's not that you need to always have good thoughts, but you can
Mm,
work towards having that.
very
It is
true.
not
Very
because of
true.
somebody else. It is not because, oh, this person is a great person, it's kind of an appreciation receiving from others matters. It's about you feeling about yourselves. Oh,
Mm, mm.
yes. No, yeah, yes. No, you finding reasonable for yourself. I think that is the greatest reason, that gift that you can give to yourself. Now, when somebody comes
Beautiful.
and says, you hear others come and talk about you, but what you can talk about yourself is very, very important.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
always
yeah.
say to my wife and also my team, who's every day-to-day base work with me, if I go and tell something in a conference or a thing, something very flashy, which
Mm,
you guys listen and laugh,
mm,
cannot connect that than me, then I'm
mm.
lying. I can
Yeah,
go and satisfy an unknown crowd by telling all these flashy things which may not be true, but don't
true.
do it for your sake. It is not
Yeah,
because to motivate others, it is for yourself, that you did not lie anything. Now, you did not say anything which is not appropriate. And
very
if that
true.
comes to you by practice, in body language, we say it, right? Fake it until you make it, right?
Correct,
So keep
correct.
working towards it, and one day you'll be able to make it. So
Very
don't
true.
give up. Don't give any low value for your thoughts. Keep thinking about your thoughts. The problem is many of the times we don't even give a time to think about what we are thinking, or we don't even know spend enough time in understanding our thoughts, why it is and all that.
Very
Start
true.
doing it, and definitely you'll see the fruits,
Beautiful,
and the
beautiful,
bird, all the flowers blossoming in your life.
beautiful. Thank you so much, Daniel. That was really interesting conversation. I completely agree to you because, many years back, I read this sentence which made a very, very deep impact in me. We have heard this cliche sentence for many, many years, who says, think before you act, think before you act. I read something some time back which said, think before you think to act. Putting one
Mm.
more think before the think, it just told me that you can actually put a thought to a thought. And the person said, when you do that, the possibility of error of an action is minimal.
Very good, actually, nicely put on.
So
Very
think before
nice.
you
Yeah.
think to act. That one
Yeah.
extra think adds such tremendous and immense meaning to the sentence, isn't it? Superb. Thank you so much, Daniel, for all this conversation. I completely enjoyed this free flow chat. I hope you had a good time with me.
Definitely. Thank you so much once again. Please keep doing such things, because, as I mentioned, I personally built two libraries in two rural places, because I really want students to start reading about it. Nowadays, ebook and all that, still fine. Find some physical book also. Even if it is ebook, it is fine, but read. More read, that will be helpful. Your show will definitely create more readers. So I'm very happy about this show. Thank you so
Thanks.
much once again for the thought.
Thanks a lot, Daniel. And thank you for being a participant in this force. Thank you. You have a lovely evening. Look forward to see you sometime. Bye
Pleasure.
bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.